Mariners lose 11-3. They fall to 45-37 on the season. They've lost the first two games against the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's go over the scoring, Blaze. LOL. Just kidding. I'm not doing all that. No, you can look at the box score if you're really curious to see how everybody scored. I'll tell you how the Mariners scored. Ty France hit a homer. Mitch Garver hit a homer. Ty France's homer came with a guy on base, and it was crushed. Mitch Garver's homer also crushed, but with nobody on base. Your only positive for this game is that Ty France had a nice day. And it's nice to see after we were harsh on him yesterday, and justifiably so. Just doesn't change a whole heck of a lot, but good for him. Good for him. And Mitch Garver hit a homer. His other three at-bats were awful. Simply Seattle provides the very best in Seattle sports gear. Great stuff for the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Kraken, the Storm, the Sounders, the Huskies, the Cougars. You can find it all at Simply Seattle. Please use thing because it takes 15% off your order and it shows your support for our show as well. Really appreciate the good folks of Simply Seattle. What? Seriously, what? Luis Castillo was awful. The bullpen was awful. Awful. And yes, it was your three best relievers who throw, or three worst relievers, excuse me. Three best relievers for Tampa Bay. They were awful. Bauman was awful. Bizardo was awful. Bolton was awful. None of his runs are earned. It's because he stunk and made a terrible throw. But he didn't pitch well. He didn't even kind of pitch well. He's not good. Ugh. Bauman had at least looked good in the last few appearances, but he was terrible today. And Castillo, this is now 3 straight clunkers on the road. Command was bad. Stuff wasn't all that great. You know, had to battle through the third and fourth just to get those innings scoreless. He's got to be better. He's got to be a lot better. There's no doubt right now, and I try not to be too prisoner of the moment-y, and I love Luis Castillo. I've been a Luis Castillo defender, and I will remain so. I very much believe in him. But there's no doubt right now that Logan Gilbert's your ace. It doesn't really matter because all of those guys are going to end up making right around the same amount of starts. But you start a playoff series tomorrow. Thank your lucky stars that you get to play in it. And Luis Castillo, you ain't starting game 1. You're probably starting game 3 at this point. But still believe in you, but you've got to start pitching better on the road because these are 3 unacceptable outings. Unacceptable. The offense was terrible. Julio was awful. I don't understand why he was moved into the 2 spot. It's the 1 spot that we've seen that he's had almost no success. I don't get it. Whatever. Luke Raley was horrible. Mitch Garver was horrible outside of the homer. At least he got a homer. It meant nothing because it came in a 6-2 game. Polanco was awful. His 1 hit went about 4 feet. Canzone was awful. Josh Rojas was awful. This was an awful game. And this has been an awful road trip. Terrible. I don't know what else you can say other than the fact that these guys are playing like absolute dog turds right now. The positive you can take out of this is somehow you still have a division lead. But if you keep playing like this, it's going to go quickly. Quickly. And it's not going to be because those other teams behind you are so great. It's because you're playing like this. You know, it's okay to have bad stretches, obviously. Having bad stretches against mediocre teams while seeing the cracks, frustrating. At the very least, it's frustrating. And, you know, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. I really hope they are. They're looking at this and saying, all right, we have this big lead, but clearly this team as built right now isn't good enough. So let's take advantage of what we have built in and go get better. That's the hope. Just relying on Gregory Santos to make your bullpen better isn't enough. By the way, Brian Wu does go on the injured list. No surprise there. Saw some people complaining that they trade Dallas Keuchel. You don't want Dallas Keuchel starting for the Seattle Mariners. You don't. You really don't. And, because they have some off days, they can kind of go with a 4-man rotation a little bit. In fact, they have 2 off days coming up. They have Thursday off, and then they have Monday off. So you can kind of go with a 4-man rotation for a little bit. And then when you need 5, if Wu isn't ready to go, Jonathan Diaz is a better starting pitcher than Dallas Keuchel is right now. Wish you luck, Dallas. Had a really nice career. You were never going to be a starting pitching option for the Seattle Mariners. Not in my humble estimation, nor should he have been. His days of relevancy have long gone. This is going to be a short video, in part because I'm going to go do a subscriber chat that's starting at 7. There's no point in promoting it right now because this video will get posted right around after it gets started. But I'm just frustrated. Frustrated. I went and watched this game with Grandma, and we both just kind of shook our head for a long time. And we've done too much head shaking on this road trip. Please hit like and subscribe. Really appreciate the support. And I don't know, man. Not fun.